Good morning, everybody. It's your girl Miracle Sims, and you're listening to God, Sex, and Love, your daily dose of inspirational juice. It is June the 14th, 2022, and today the topic is Love is dot dot dot. Well, I hope that you guys had a great day yesterday. Mine was just fine. I feel like yesterday was my Saturday. Because I had a little time to sit down and rest a little while, not too much to do per se. So yeah, I didn't do much. um, yeah, got a little bit of groceries and that's pretty much it. Yeah, that's what yesterday looked like. So here we are. Here we are this morning. And I did my prayer meditation. I don't really hardly remember it. Because afterwards I ended up thinking about my ex. I know. um, Now for the record, I would never like call his name nor try to bash him or anything like that. I just say it was a unique experience. I think I've shared multiple times a little bit what it was like and whatnot. But I mean, regardless of what happened between him and I, right? Of course I hope all is well. I hope that he's okay, um pray God is with him, you know what I'm saying, and things like that. You know, the funny thing about like guys that I've quote unquote dealt with, or well, not all exes, but some. The interesting thing is like those gentlemen like disappear. If I didn't have memories and photos and like messages and stuff, there probably wouldn't be any proof of their existence. You know what I mean? So he's one of those individuals that has kind of disappeared after, not exactly after we broke up, but I guess after he realized that I wasn't going to come back, after he realized that I had moved on and things like that, then even eventually, yeah, he just kind of disappeared. Let's just say it like that. um, you know, I remember in the beginning, every now and then, I would kind of like check on him, make sure he's okay, because he was just kind of like, at least he acted to be very hurt when he found out that I had moved on. But my thing was, where was all of this when I was with you? You know what I mean? And that's the crazy thing, because I guess like sometimes, at least as a woman, I could just speak for me. I know we can't sit here and act like everybody's the same, X, Y, and Z. But a lot of women give men chance after chance after chance, right? Um, and so honestly, by the time that we finally broke up, technically we was probably broke up in my mind like months prior. But I just kind of gave it chance after chance after chance to try to see, you know, if there could be something, because at the end of the day, like no matter how we ended, right, and how the relationship was, towards the end, it didn't start off that way, right? It didn't start off that way, because if it started off that way, then obviously it probably wouldn't have lasted as long as it did, right? In some cases, at least with me, I would like to think so. But the interesting thing is, since he came into my mind this morning, um, and I was like, Lord, what do you what do you want me to think about in regards to him? I mean, because at the end of the day, too, it's like I know that one of the things that I had on my list of things to talk about on the GSL platform or online or whatever is to talk about that relationship. And maybe I haven't done a deep dive into like everything, but for the most part, I have shared like the general information. Like, we kind of got together kind of quick, but he ended up being like the longest relationship in my adult life. Um, he was probably everything I wanted in a guy in regards to he was very talented. I felt like he was very handsome. Um, I supported him in his talents and whatnot. I felt like he was trying to push me or trying to support me in his way. But ultimately, his support felt more so like ongoing critiques, and it didn't uplift me. It like was beating me down. Um, so much so where I became unfamiliar with myself at some point. Because it was very confusing to be with someone that was with you the longest, versus any guy ever, right? And but still had no seemingly to have no true understanding of who I was as a woman or a person. And then would try to tell me, his observations of me, and which sounded nothing like me, which felt nothing like who I knew myself to be, and any of that. All the while, I'm trying to just try to be this person for him, right? I was trying to be this understanding person, this person that loved him, flaws and all, and all those different things, right? However, one of the things towards the end that I had to ask myself was, who is going to love me? Because right now it's supposed to be you, but it's not. And so here I am doing my best to love you, but there's no one loving me. There's no one giving me grace, mercy, understanding, loving me, flaws and all. On the flip side, I was being beat down mentally, verbally, and things of that nature, right? And it's a beautiful thing, right, to have those things happen prior to a commitment like marriage or things like that, because at the end of the day, I do feel like marriage is an important covenant, and it's something that it shouldn't be taken lightly. And so I'm a living witness that it's truly, truly important who you choose to marry, who chooses you and who you choose to make that covenant with, because now granted, I know that everything don't always work out, even if you do feel like you chose the right person, X, Y, and Z. But at the same time too, I guess there's like, unless the person does a complete like switcheroo, you know what I mean? Like soon as you get married, they become a completely different person, or something like that, something that you couldn't, I guess, see beforehand, then I guess, okay, but anyway, so as I thought about him this morning, and I was asking God like what he wanted me to think about in regards to him. On one hand, it's like I can't help but to, now I'm not playing a comparison game per se, but when I think about him and I think about my husband too, I mean, obviously they're two different people. But the main thing I would say about my husband, even though he's not perfect neither, you know what I mean? He's a human too, and so am I. But I can say, like, when I think about the biblical description of love, I feel like my husband has exuded that, and then when I think about my ex, especially towards the end, how he was exuding the opposite. And it's very interesting. I thought about today or this morning, whatever the case is, that, why is it that, it can be just that obvious, right? If someone's exuding love or not, if someone is operating in love or not. but sometimes we just either we miss it or we don't see it when we're in the midst of situations. Because if, for example, I just took the Bible verse that I'm going to share with you all today, or the Bible verses, and I compared it to my ex at that time when I was struggling and when I was, holding on to the relationship that we were in and everything like that. I think it would have been clear that, this isn't love, right? This isn't love what I'm dealing with. And then vice versa, putting my husband up to the words and whatnot. And he does line up in a lot of ways, so that's the thing. I mean, I don't know who I'm talking to today. You know what I mean? I don't know if you're single or married or what. I don't know if you even care about love. I don't know. But I mean, I hope these things can encourage you and inspire you in with whatever path you are currently on, because if nothing else, man, look, just like everything else, I think we have this idea of love just all not just say screwed up, but like jumbled up, fumbled up, however you want to say it. Like there's this narrative about love that is like, man, and then there's so many ways, or like there's so many ways to love and all of these different things. And I get there might be a differences when it comes to love. Okay, love versus friends versus love versus family, love versus that. I get all that. It's just very interesting when you think about it. What is love? Now, the Bible says that God is love. We know what people say these days. But I'm just going to read this section here. And it's just one, well, it's multiple verses, but just one section. And it should be very familiar to anybody that reads the Bible. But we're going to just, I guess, read it and see what the Lord has to say to us this morning. All right. So 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. Love is patient and kind. Love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude. Whew, if I stop right there, man, and think about my ex, yeah, he was kind of the opposite of all of that. Not at some point, I'll put it like that. Probably not every day, and probably not when we met, all those different things. But at some point, he was probably the opposite of all of that. Now, again, is somebody going to be perfect? No. Like, am I perfect? No. And everything like that. But again, when you're in the midst of something, right, and you're dealing with someone, and maybe you're getting to know someone, you're dating, maybe they're your boyfriend or girlfriend, maybe you become exclusive. At some point, I think it will be wise for us to put that person up to these words and ask the question, is it true? Put my name where love is. For example, Miracle is patient and kind. Miracle does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant or rude, or Miracle is not arrogant or rude. Like, can you put that person's name there and feel like that's the truth? And if you can't, then that should speak volumes. That should show you where they should be. And you should protect your heart and move on. I know that sounds so simple. It sounds so simple. And this coming from somebody that, again, I was with this person months. Like, I was with them for maybe like a year and a half, maybe. I think I'll give it that. Maybe almost 2 years, but maybe a year and a half. And then like half of that year, or half of that last year, it's like I saw it not working. And I just kept holding on. I just kept holding on. For him, for me, for the situation we were in, and everything like that. And yeah, I often wonder, like, man, where would I be right now if I was still with him? I doubt I would still be with him. I don't know. I don't know. Now part of me thinks we probably would have ended up on, if he had been business minded, which he was kind of sort of, but not really, but we was working on it. If he was business minded, we probably would have ended up being like one of them couples on like Love and Hip Hop or something. I think so. Because, well, one, because he was super talented. He was super talented. And then with both of us being in the entertainment industry, like I had an interest in, you know, entertainment and mainstream and all that at that time, right? If I had gotten that information to be part of something like that, we probably would have been on there. Now where would I be? Would I be talking to y'all and giving y'all daily inspiration at that point? Where would I be spiritually and all of that? I have no clue now. I mean, hey, again, with the family I have, my mother, all the things that have been instilled in me, perhaps, I would have come back, and maybe I would have still ended up here, regardless of that. But I don't know. I don't know. And the funny thing about that whole thing is that, because again, back when I was actively pursuing opportunities, such as mainstream and whatnot, I did come across an opportunity when my husband and I got together. Or when we was getting ready to get married, they were looking for married couples, a reality show, some show, and they were looking for married couples, and or people that was getting ready to get married, which we were. But and I was excited. I was excited about even just having the meeting, right? But the interesting thing is, before I could even have the meeting, it got canceled. And I was like trying to figure out what happened. And I reached out and I was like, hi, what happened in X, Y, and Z? And they were like, oh, you're too happy. They told us we were too happy. They told me we were too happy. And I told he was my fiance then. I had told him, and he was upset, but he was upset for me because he's not into that, but he would have done it at least for me. But he was upset that, basically they didn't even give us a chance. They didn't even have a meeting with us or anything like that. It was just like, oh, you guys are too happy, so blah, blah, blah. And you know what? And I get it. I ended up, that was one of the reasons why we went with "Oh Happy Says" as our hashtag or our wedding hashtag. And then even recently, if you follow me on social media, on Facebook in particular, I updated my photos, my profile photo, and it's like sickening sweet. It really is. Like, and the only little thing that I could say in my caption was "Oh Happy Says," because it does look like we're just this, like I said, sickening sweet loving couple. His smile, my smile, all that. Now, again, are we perfect? No. I mean, y'all got a little bit of information yesterday about how imperfect we are, and everything. So we're not perfect at all. But I do believe that he's perfect for me. And I believe he believes that about me as well, which I question. I ain't gonna lie, I question. But not because of him. I question more so because of me, because I know I'm not perfect, and I know that there's room for improvement. And I think also, again, when you set up expectations or whatnot, or I don't know if it's just the way you're raised or whatever the case is, like when you expect things to go a certain way or whatever, and that can kind of make you doubt and stuff. But yeah, those are just some things I thought about this morning. Let's get back to these verses. So we're going to continue that, continuing 1 Corinthians 13, 4-8. The next part says, it does not insist on its own way. It is not irritable. It is not irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices in the truth. Love bears all things, endures all things, believes all things, hopes all things, endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, sorry, y'all, something, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. Yeah. I mean, those are all the verses that I feel led to read this morning and share. There's plenty of others in the Go Deeper section for you all to peruse and let marinate on your hearts, souls, and minds in regards to this conversation of love. But yeah, let's go back. So irritable or resentful, it is not those things. It is not irritable, right? Yeah, it looks like that's what I wrote. Or resentful. Man, I don't even know if I have anything to say to that. Again, man, let's look at our current situations and our current partners or whatever the case is, and our spouse or whoever we're dating, and again, see, do that fit there? They don't rejoice in wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Woo, man. Like, I mean, we can all kind of, and not just saying in relationships, right? This is just across the board with everybody as well. And I know it gets kind of difficult because on one hand, it's like, well, Lord, your word tells us to love our enemies and all these different things, right? But then on the flip side, being human, right? And trying to love people and love people where they are and everything like that. But then also knowing when enough is enough, right? One of the things that I think is the reason why we didn't work is because when it comes to my ex, is because, there was a lot of places or a lot of things where it seemed as if I was trying to fulfill a need or a void that only God could fill. And that's the thing, I can never be God. Like, I'm not God, and I can't be that for somebody. Now I can be patient, kind, I can be all those different things, but at some point, I did have to make a decision to love me more than I loved him, right? I had to make a decision to love God more than I loved him. And that may sound bad to people, but I believe at the end of the day, we're going to have to make those decisions, because at the end of the day, I'm a child of God as well, and if you're not going to handle me with care and do what the Bible say and love me like Christ loved the church and lay down your life for me, then why, yes, I love you, right? But I can't be God to you or for you. That's a whole nother type of love that we can't even, there's a reason why that void goes unfulfilled, for people that don't acknowledge God, because so I mean, I could go on and on and on about this conversation of love. I mean, love is one of those topics that's in the title, you know what I'm saying? So y'all know there's plenty to say about that. But I mean, hopefully, if nothing else today, I hope that you all understand that at the end of the day, God is love. These are things that he exudes and want us to know and have. If we remember what love is, then hopefully it doesn't, we don't get confused about what it isn't when we're faced with what it isn't. If you don't recognize this love to be what the Bible describes, if you don't recognize the love that you are looking at to be the love that is described in the Bible, then again, I would suggest you move on and pray and ask God for the wisdom to wait and seek the love that he truly has for you. And that's the juice. That's the juice this morning. The Bible verse of today is First Chronicles 16:34, it says, "Oh, give thanks unto the Lord, for he is good, for his mercy endureth forever." Friends, I hope you all enjoyed this juice this morning. Thank you so much for listening to God, Sex, and Love. You're the little of inspirational juice. I pray you guys can go forth and have a wonderful day, and I look forward to all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye. And there you go, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble, anybody listening to the sound of my voice this morning. I hope that you all are encouraged and inspired. Shout out to you. You know, I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for taking out the time to watch and to respond and everything like that. I was going to ask if you could start watching me on the God, Sex, and Love channel versus the Actress Miracle Sims channel, but it's up to you, bro. It don't even matter at this point, because like on one hand, it's like, yeah, I know it's important to get the views and to get them followers and all of that type of stuff, but on the other hand, I'm just like, man, I can't I can't worry about that. Like, I have to, you know, either I have to hire somebody to worry about that at some point or something like that. I just have to keep waking up in the morning. You know what I'm saying? I just have to keep filming these episodes of GSL. I just have to keep expanding the content and creating, and that's what I need to keep doing, regardless. Even if you're the only person that ever watches me, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you're the only person that ever receives something from this, I thank and praise God for you. I truly do. I don't want to get emotional and cry and stuff, but you know, even if all of this was just for you, to God be the glory, man. I hope that you are really, truly, you know, this helps you in some way. I know that you say that it do and stuff, and I don't know if you just say that for me or what, or if you really mean it or whatever, but regardless, man, I appreciate you. I do. And I hope all is well over there where you are. And yeah. But before I start boohoo crying, I guess I'll let y'all go. But anybody else that watches and stuff like that, again, I would shout y'all out as well if I knew who you were. So my apologies if there are more people watching me and I just don't know who you are. But I appreciate you, you know, everybody that watches, listens, subscribe, share, all those different things. Again, I hope that these things encourage you and inspire you. And yeah, I look forward to talking to y'all tomorrow, if the Lord's will. Bye-bye.